You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show. The preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. Welcome to the big show, my family and friends. Thanks for tuning in. We certainly appreciate you guys being here. As always, there is never a day that goes by that we do not appreciate you folks showing up. It's just such a wonderful thing to share with you, to spend time with you, to marinate in the richness of the beautiful, wonderful, intelligent guests that we have on this show that will expand your mind, make you sexier to whoever you want to be attracted to. You'll just walk around with this glow of intelligence by listening to the show. Can I kiss your ass anymore? Probably not. Anyway, guys, as always, we're going to be talking about some amazing things today, superlatives in business, but also we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence. You may have heard of it. Some people say I'm artificially intelligent, and they're probably right in some ways. I don't know. Have you seen what I ate for breakfast? I don't know what that means, but if you do want to know what it means, refer your family, friends, and relatives to youtube.com/Chris Voss. That's not a tie-in, Chris. Go to linkedin.com/Chris Voss. Go to Goodreads and Facebook and TikTok. We're trying to do TikTok over there. In fact, we just made a great interview with someone from TikTok, a huge fashion designer over there. And CNN's anchor will be on the show to talk to us. You've probably heard me mention it before. He'll be coming up later on this month to talk about it. Today we have an amazing guest, and we're going to be talking about AI and running companies, telecommunications, the web industry, et cetera, et cetera. Brian Fowler is on the show with us today. He is a distinguished figure in the telecommunications and web industry. He boasts an impressive career spanning 25 years, currently serving as the president and CEO of Security First International Holdings Incorporated. He has steered his company to remarkable success over the past decade. Under his leadership, Security First has emerged as a trusted provider of cutting-edge, security products and services. With a strong foundation as a telecommunications engineer, Mr. Fowler seemingly transitioned into the realm of web development. He revolutionized the industry by introducing GoHoster, an intuitive website hosting platform designed specifically for beginners and novice web developers. The platform garnered widespread acclaim, earning recognition as an innovative solution within the industry. Welcome to the show, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Chris? Thanks for having me.
I am doing excellent as well. So you're here today. You're talking about your company, Security First International Holdings Incorporated, and then some of the things you're launching. So give us your .com so people can find you on the interwebs, please.
So it's OptoBiz.ai. So it's Opto, OptoBiz.ai.
There you go. And that'll be on the Chris Voss Show if you want to hook that link up. So what are you doing over there?
So OptoBiz is the actual, sorry, Chris, for jumping in. OptoBiz is actually the product of Security First International Holdings, Inc. So there is another web address for the actual company, which is scfrholdings.com.
There you go. Getting all the plugs in, that's important. So you guys have been building, started this company. How new is it? And give us a 30,000 overview of it, if you would, please.
So the company, I've been president CEO of Security First for 10 years. We just recently launched the OptoBiz.ai product last week, which is where the focus has been for the last about 8 to 10 months. We've been focused on that particular vertical of technology.
There you go. So what made you want to move into this space? Like, what was the proponent that made you decide that this is the thing you want to take and do?
Well, conversational AI started to really take flight with ChatGPT. So that was the first big one. Yeah, that's the first one that came out and really got a lot of acclaim, and it started to create a user base around conversational AI. So we decided to go in and investigate ourselves about what the market would look like if we had a product in that market, and try and get the usage that ChatGPT has garnered. As we have launched this and as we have been going through the development, we've really come to understand that people are looking more at the security aspects around AI. Is AI secure? Is AI safe? And then you start to do some research and a deep dive, and you start to learn about some scams and other things that have utilized conversational AI. So we're now trying to put together, or we are putting together a package within OptoBiz that's going to provide the security around our particular chatbot versus other ones that are out there.
There you go. Well, before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us an origin story. What got you down this road? What got you working, doing the Security First International Holdings and into this space?
So back in 1998, I was a long-distance reseller in Canada. It became a race to zero. So if you were trying to sell long distance in anywhere, the prices were just going to zero. So there really was no margins left in there. So I tried to figure another way to be in the telecommunication business, maintain the margins, and have my own telephone network. So I actually developed a VoIP network, which is Voice over Internet Protocol, back in 1998. So it was probably one of the first VoIP platforms out there. So I grew that for 4 years, and then I started to need capital to scale it, to make it bigger. So I put together a business plan, started to put the business plan in front of some VCs. My business plan ended up on the desk of a gentleman named Michael Egan. Michael Egan is the founder of Alamo Rent-A-Cars. He's founder of Nantucket Nectars. He put the first $20 million into the dot-com boom when he put $20 million into the Globe.com. And the Globe.com happened to be the highest return in IPO in NASDAQ history at the time. So the Globe.com was in the business of trying to be a social network. They just ultimately were a little too early because the costs associated with building out something like a Facebook at that time was just not cost effective. You couldn't maintain it. The bandwidth was too much. Server costs were still high. So it just wasn't a viable business at the time. So as much as the Globe.com was the dot-com boom, it was also the dot-com implosion. So they raised a lot of money, couldn't do much with it. The company unwound, but Mike did not dissolve the company. He kept the company alive. So when my business plan ended up on Mike's desk, he gave me a call in Canada, had me fly down. So I met with him, and he just drilled me for a few hours on what VoIP is, what we think the future of VoIP is. And much like this podcast, I don't know, I thought it went completely bad. I remember leaving that day saying, okay, well, that was your first go at it, and you're not getting anything out of it. But ultimately ends up a week later, he calls me and he says, I think we have a deal to be done here. So I'm going, oh, nice. Yeah. So then I end up moving to Fort Lauderdale, transitioning from Toronto to Fort Lauderdale where he was based. Then we built out a VoIP company in the Globe.com, where we were on pace with Skype for downloads on our application for the desktop telephony. So we were focused on software phones at the time. I know it seems a little archaic at this time, but back in 2002, 2003, it was new cutting edge stuff. So we focused on building that business. That business was around for, I believe, we wound that down in 2008. So at that point, I learned a lot from those years. We went through a lot of different permutations, a lot of different technologies. Mike always wanted to be on the forefront of all technology. So as the CTO of the company, he had me out evaluating every different tech vertical as the phone network was doing its thing, because he saw that there was going to be a point where we would have to pivot and transition into another technology, which ultimately we did. We became a registrar of domain names .travel. So the company did actually find another niche in tech and in web that it transitioned to. At that point, I transitioned out of the company myself, and then I started some of these projects. GoHoster was the first project I actually created after leaving the Globe.com. And then that spawned into Security First International. And within Security First International, we've developed and touched on a lot of different technologies as well. So I've just continued what I learned from the Globe and extended that into Security First. And then that's where all of our technology assets are, where we incubate and we develop.
I was going to say, you guys are an incubator, so this is great to get into these technologies. So let's talk about the software. Who does it apply to? Is it for consumers or for business or both? And what does the software technically do?
So it's a service. It's actually a service where you can use it within chat channels. And what it is and what it's designed for is to be an assistant to a human. It's not necessarily something that needs to be human facing, because again, that's where some of the security issues come in. But if you're someone like an attorney and you need to get some information that might be readily quicker than going through the traditional channels, you could just communicate with the chatbot and then get information back instantly pertaining to what you're looking for. So it becomes an alternative knowledge base that you can use, but it's for the human support. It's not necessarily to have the customer engage with the actual AI. It's for the human that needs an assistant. It becomes the assistant to the person doing the business.
Okay, so like kind of like a virtual assistant, but AI.
Correct, but not being actually used directly with the client. So if it's a company client, the company uses it as a tool to help with the client. So it keeps the company in the loop.
There you go. So but does it interact at all with the customer?
It can, but right now the way we're utilizing it is to keep a human in the loop, just to keep the actual security aspect of it there. So if anyone is communicating, they know that it's an assistant of a human. So it's the chances of there being some malicious activity happening is minimized.
There you go. And you mentioned about security earlier. We're seeing all sorts of weird stuff go on, and usually when a new industry pops up like this, there's issues with security because it's kind of like a Wild West sort of thing. What are some ways that you help enhance security and make it work?
So we prevent indirect prompt injection. When indirect prompt injection is where when you utilize AI, you prompt the AI for the information you're looking for. And if you're scanning a website, say, and there's malicious content on that website, and the AI looks at the website because it doesn't visually see the website, but it reads like a bot what the code is. If it gets back prompts that are malicious, then the AI spawns off into another situation that it wasn't intended to be in. So it also has a way of poisoning the actual model. So once these prompts are in there and it's learning these malicious prompts, then the AI will not be returning or utilized the correct way. So we're implementing strategies to prevent those things from happening.
Now, how is this different than other AI virtual assistants or chat boxes? I know I'm not a big fan of chat boxes. How is this different than that?
It's very similar, but again, it's the way we were implementing it and the way we're doing our prompt engineering. So we're putting together packages of prompts that when you prompt the AI, it gives you the information you're actually looking for. So it kind of teaches you how to work with the AI, but in a secure way as well.
Definitely. And this might be better than maybe those forum bulletin boards that people send me to when it's like, hey, do you want to fix your problem? And then you're like, yeah, I'm trying to have some customer service here. And they're like, here, go to this giant forum where you can read 10 million questions about why our product is broken.
Yeah.
and hopefully you'll find the answer you're looking for over there. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, this is what we're doing now? So yeah, anything that can help dial up a better response. And then of course it operates 24/7, correct? Correct. It just makes the human more efficient. So if you look at it not to be afraid of, because there is security issues, but if you're not afraid of it and you know how to utilize it and you can learn how to prompt it correctly, it will make you much more efficient of what you're doing. There's no doubt about that. There you go. Do you find that this is more popular and helpful than the other forms of AI virtual assistants? Again, we're in our infancy with it, so we're going to learn, and then we're going to find out what we can do that's going to differentiate us from the others that are out there, because everything is very similar. So at this point, you're going to have to just find what the differentiator is, and then go in on that and develop on that. And that's where we're focused on the security and the prompt engineering, so we can make it a more
usable tool for humans.
You have some different examples on your website, some industry kind of sampling of how it can work and help. One aspect is banking, law, real estate. You mentioned here that it can enhance security by helping detect fraudulent detect and prevent fraudulent activities by analyzing customer behavior and transactional patterns. That sounds important because it can identify maybe people trying to hack into systems or accounts.
Correct. That's exactly what that is. If you start to see people doing different things outside of what the pattern is, then it throws an alarm, and then you can identify that with a human and say, okay, this is a differentiator in the pattern. Let's take a look at this with a human eye instead of leaving everything to be automated. Because 100% automation, 100% AI will be a disaster. There has to be a human in the loop somewhere, else this will be a runaway situation on us.
Yeah, because then, somebody could fake being me and go into my account.
Correct. I mean, literally make you look like you are right now on the show talking, and people will be tuned into this, and it won't even be the Chris Voss show, right? They're looking at an AI version of it.
Yeah, they're saying that's going to come. I don't know. I don't think they can make AI as funny and interesting as me, but there's still time.
Hey, a lot of content out there to learn from, right? So they can.
There is. I mean, 14 years and 1,400 episodes. I've seen the thing that they do now with the deep fakes, and I suppose you can deep fake. It always creeps me out. I tend to pick up on it. Okay. And there's a static sort of. What's the word I'm looking for in English? There's a static sort of stanza or metronome that AI uses that is a giveaway. Like when I read stuff written by ChatGPT, unless it's been humanized and human edited, I can see the machine. And there's a certain staccato, there's a static nature to it that's very, I don't know how to describe it.
No, I understand.
Yeah. It's devoid of emotion. And maybe I'll get better at that, but yeah, I can usually tell. So you have a few examples here of real estate, maybe lead generation qualification. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's important to people. Everyone's always trying to generate more leads for business.
In that way, it keeps it more efficient, and you can actually start to generate and bring more leads in and not lose as many leads. So it gives you an opportunity to bring the lead in, deal with the lead through AI, and then when it comes to the point where the deal is closable, then that's when the human gets in and closes. So in that situation, it just helps manage the leads that come in. So there is communication. Because I've been in the lead business before too. When leads have come in and I haven't addressed them in time, the lead dies. It falls off, right? So this is a way to be able to address a lead in real time. And then when the lead gets to a point where it can be handed off to the human, it then gets handed off. But it's already been warmed. The lead's a warm lead now instead of just a cold lead at that point.
There you go. I like this a lot better. I have friends that have virtual assistants that they hire sometimes in other countries, and I guess it works fairly well for them. But I've seen different issues with it. I'm always concerned about having people that I can't get to with lawsuits or some sort of legal action if they betray it. Whatever business we're doing, that I can't get to them, and I would really rather have a virtual assistant. I just really would. That's robotic or AI that can do the same sort of job, because they're in my accounts, and you're like, hey, do we give this person access to our accounts? I mean, they can, some of my accounts are quite large. I've been around for several years. I mean, my YouTube's been around since 2006. I mean, do I want someone in there that could delete that thing just because they, I don't know, get angry because they, I don't know, they didn't get their coffee this morning?
No, those are big assets. Yeah, I would be very concerned about that. You built those assets over that much time, right? So that's
My LinkedIn the same way. My LinkedIn, I think we've been on LinkedIn since almost the beginning. We have a giant group over there, 130,000 people. We have, I think I'm maxed out on everybody who can follow me. I think we have 60,000 following total over there. And there's people that give their LinkedIn access to stuff. And I'm like, there's not a way to give somebody like a below level thing to manage your account. And it's like, there's a lot of people that use LinkedIn to lead generate, and it's like I can't give anybody access to that because they could wipe it in a second, or they could. Yeah. I've heard a lot of ransomware stuff too. I mean, I've had friends that they've hired some of these people off the internet that you're like, hey, we'll rebuild your website. They got a hold of your website and your properties, and then they ransom it, and you're just like, wow, okay. That doesn't sound fun at all. So I can see the security nature and having something that you have more control of as being an asset.
Right. And, the simplest way to do that is, like you said, just offer some privileges levels, right? So you give different levels of privileges that they can get to the account where it maintains a level of trust once you let someone in there.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Definitely. Yeah, and so anyway, that something like this could replace that sort of access, because like with LinkedIn, you can't make privileges on LinkedIn. I don't believe you can make them on YouTube either. And on my website, you can make privileges. You can set that up a little bit, but even then, people can muck about if they want, and if they're getting to know your business, they're probably going to know. I think all my passwords and my social security and my birth date and just about everything you need to know about me is on the internet, right. The dark web at this point. I mean, there's been so many hacks of so many accounts. I can't, it's a wonder. Have I ever lost an account? Our Instagram account got hacked, and it was quite large, and we're still trying to get Facebook to recover it. It was hacked by the Chinese. Last we saw of it, it was being sent. We were being sent responses in Chinese. So whoever hacked it was, from over there. And trying to get recourse on these social media companies to give a shit about anybody. You're the product, so that's that. Right. So 24-hour service, enhancing security, personalizing customer interactions looks like it's a great way to get people going back and forth. Streamlining is another aspect. Tell us a little bit about this if you want to expand on some of it.
On the streamlining?
On streamlining operations and personalizing customer interactions and improving customer experience. How are ways can that deepen your relationship with your customers? Again,
because I think you're more efficient with them. So if they have an inquiry or something that they need to have resolved in a manner that's quick, I think this gives access to that. It allows the employee to be able to handle the inquiry in a manner that, like you said, more humane. So they utilize the actual AI, get the information, and then relay that information in a more human-like manner. But it's more efficient for them to deliver the information because they get the information faster. So it's a resource to be able to handle inquiries and streamline how, say, a customer service would work.
There you go. What's your vision of what this might become? Are you kind of building out and let the customer help you shape it? I know Twitter was that way. Twitter pretty much there's just three idiots running in a clown car, and the world showed Twitter how to operate. Is that not to say you guys are idiots? Certainly, I don't think anybody could replace BizJack and who's the other third one. But basically, it's just an example of how customers told them how to shape the business. Do you have a vision for what it may become, or are you?
There's going to be a lot of that. We're going to be analyzing the actual industry. We're going to be analyzing what others are doing, and we're going to be learning. And the customer base, the businesses that we engage and get feedback from, that will definitely go into how we evolve what we're doing and how we are going to differentiate ourselves in the space. So we will definitely be learning where there's impediments or where there's growth, and then we will design and build to either one that fits where we're at with where the development of where we are at the time.
There you go. With your guys' company, where you guys are doing incubators, do you guys have other projects you're working on, or are you all in on this one?
So we just went all in on AI. We've done some stuff in crypto. We've done some stuff in virtual reality. We've done some stuff in augmented reality. So all of those emerging techs, we've done some development in. So that's we have a little bit of a war chest there. That if we see an opportunity where we can accelerate some of these techs, we would definitely do that with a team.
It's definitely going to make a new world, I think, with artificial intelligence. It's been amazing to me. I can't remember the numbers, but to see the escalation and adoption of ChatGPT is kind of this lead that kind of emerged. To see the adoption of that in numbers of users compared to just about anything else in the tech space for new user adoption is just extraordinary. And I think this is a real revolution for what the future holds for artificial intelligence. What are some of your thoughts on the big overall vision of it?
I think it's coming. I think it's going to be here. That's why we're focused on the security side of it, because in anything new, you don't quite know what it can be used for, right? So back in the early days of the internet, we put up a website that got hacked, like you said, like very quickly. There was denial of service attacks. There's a lot of different things we're going to have to learn about before we can say, okay, now it's the mainstream. It's also almost mainstream, but now we have to find out what some of the issues are. So it can be actually something that it lives a lot longer than just a fad, right? So it actually turns into something that can be used in a manner that's productive.
There you go. And a lot of people right now are kind of frightened of new jobs. I think there's a term for it I heard the other day. They're frightened as to new technology, and this has been going on for a million years. I forget it originates. There's a term that originates from it. It's actually a group of people who were afraid of new sort of industry and farming. The nanonites? And basically, they saw technology at the time. What was technology for them as an evil, as a thing that was going to destroy, their livelihoods, their work and stuff. And so a lot of people are kind of anticipatious. Is that a word? Of this anticipate. They're worried. You're definitely worried about where this future holds. I've had friends that are PR agents. They're like, we're going to be out of a job. Or people that are in ad copy, where they're running marketing and stuff like that. We're going to be out of a job. And then we've had other authors on the show that have talked about artificial intelligence, where it might write stuff better for us, but we're still going to have to edit it. We're still going to have to inject that human element to it. We're just actually going to become bigger editors than maybe ad copy creators, and different things. And even then, we're seeing all sorts of issues with it. There's recently an attorney who used ChatGPT to write his thing for him, and he got scolded by the court. Hopefully he doesn't lose his license. I don't know, but it pulled basically a lot of fake precedents from the internet and not even real cases. So he was citing like garbage to the court, and the court, figured it out, because that's what they do. And, so there's going to be a lot of this. And I was reading something the other day too, that the disinformation is probably going to grow pretty crazy here coming up with where it's just going to make, the internet's pretty much a giant disinformation pool, and it's probably just going to grow that. I don't know. Any thoughts on any of that?
No, agreed. The data sets are going to have information in there that's not even qualified information. I agree. The internet, garbage in, garbage out, right? So whatever is being put in there, an AI is using as its data set to learn from, that's what it's going to regurgitate. That's what's going to come back. So that's where, in the case of the lawyer, that was a little negligent in his behalf, right? So if you actually do use the tool for what it is, it would have made him efficient if he just would have went over the copy and taken care of what was wrong. But instead of actually using it for what it's there for, he wanted to utilize it as just removing himself, where, I don't have to do any work anymore. Just like people are saying, I'm out of a job. He's saying, I don't have to do any work anymore. I just hit ChatGPT, my job's done. And he's like a happy hour at that point, right? So it's interesting how people don't realize how to actually use it as a tool versus something to either replace themselves or, just shortcut. I mean, it's a big shortcutter for a lot of people.
Most definitely.
You have to be able to, like you said, go over it. You brought up the PR firms. Having ChatGPT actually write you, or our AI write you a press release is pretty straightforward. I mean, we have the prompt packs that we've engineered that brings back pretty good press releases. So in the state of conversational AI, it's how you form the prompts. You could come up with a series of prompts and feed it to ChatGPT, and we're in the same industry, and you'll get back something different than if I came up with a series of prompts and brought the data back. So it's all about how you actually engineer the prompt to get the information that's accurate and right. If you're very generalized with the prompt, you're going to get garbage. But if you can actually drill down on the prompt and put the right information in, you'll get more accurate information out of that.
Yeah. I mean, the internet's full of all sorts of disinformation between conspiracy theories, I mean, the last thing you want to do is, have something where you're telling your customers, I don't know, the world is flat, which is not true. As everyone knows, it's square. It's not round. It's not flat. It's square.
I mean, you know what? I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to ask the AI. Let's have a little test if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I haven't asked it that.
The Earth is square, and aliens aren't blue. They're green. Everyone knows that.
Hold on one sec.
And
pick
your conspiracy. Gravity isn't real either. So there's that. Neither is plus.
I should make a prompt packed around that.
Yeah, there you go.
So the response is no, the world is not flat.
There you go. What about square? What about square? It's square. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. I've seen that from space. I don't know. They basically photoshopped it in space. Anyway, I'm just having fun here. So anything more we need to know about what you guys are doing there at your company? Right now we're focused on that, and we are a public company. So once AI starts to form a little bit more, we might go into the acquisitions of other AI companies. So that's kind of what we're trying to get done right now within AI, is that we can develop our own product, launch our own product, and then once we start to get some traction with our product, use the company to acquire other AI projects and then become an incubator and a holdings of AI tech. There you go. There you go. So this would be pretty interesting. Do you take pitches if somebody has some pitches for your incubator, maybe?
We are. So we're looking at different companies right now, and if we do get inquiries, we do take a look at it. Like I said, because we're public, it allows us to be able to offer some growth and some scale, that if the projects do take off, the value of the company increases, share price goes up, and everyone is happy.
There you go. So what's the best way people can reach out to you for both companies and talk to you about whatever they want to talk about?
So for the holding company, it's scfrholdings.com. Mm-hmm. And for the AI service, it's OptoBiz.ai.
There you go. There you go.
And the company is Security First International Holdings, Inc. The ticker is SCFR.
There you go. Well, this should be really interesting to see how this pans out and everything goes on. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Very insightful and talking about the future of artificial intelligence.
Excellent. Thanks for having me, Chris.
There you go. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Miles, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, youtube.com/Chris Voss, linkedin.com/Chris Voss. Subscribe to the LinkedIn newsletter over there, the big LinkedIn group. Also go to see us on TikTok. We're trying to be cool over there. Chris Voss 1 and the Chris Voss Show podcast on TikTok. We're old. I don't know if they're going to get us, but we're trying. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.